In a world that constantly tells men to chase, impress, and prove themselves, Stoicism offers a radically different path. A path of calm strength, a path of self-mastery, a path where a man does not beg for value, but lives it. This is not about tricks, manipulation, or how to win women. This is about how a strong, disciplined man behaves in relationships. Because how you treat women reflects how you govern yourself. Here are 7 things a man should never do with women from a Stoic perspective. First, never tie your self-worth to her validation. The moment a man measures his value by a woman's attention, replies, or approval, he has already lost his center. The Stoic man knows this truth. Anything outside your control must never define your worth. A delayed message, a cold tone, or rejection should not shake you. Why? Because your identity is not negotiable. A man who needs constant validation becomes anxious, reactive, and emotionally unstable. And instability is the enemy of respect. A woman may enjoy attention, but she respects a man who respects himself first. Second, never take everything personally. Silence is not always rejection. Distance is not always disinterest. And mood changes are not always about you. The untrained mind creates stories. The Stoic mind observes facts. A weak man overanalyzes, assumes, and suffers in imagination. A disciplined man remains grounded in reality. He does not interrogate every emotion. He does not demand reassurance for every insecurity. He conserves his energy. Calm presence is far more attractive than emotional chaos. Third, never try to control or possess her. Stoicism teaches mastery of the self, not domination of others. A man who tries to control a woman's choices, or friendships, opinions, or freedom is not powerful. He is afraid. Control is rooted in insecurity. Confidence is rooted in trust. A healthy relationship is not a cage. It is a choice made freely every day. The more you try to own someone, the more you reveal your inner weakness. Fourth, never abandon your purpose for her. One of the greatest mistakes men make is shrinking their lives to fit a relationship. The Stoic man has a mission, a direction, a standard he does not compromise. When a man stops growing, stops training, stops building, stops learning, he loses not only his edge, but his attractiveness. A woman should walk beside your path, not replace it. Your purpose must always come before comfort. Fifth, never beg for love, attention, or effort. Nothing destroys masculine dignity faster than emotional begging. If interest must be forced, it is not genuine. If effort must be demanded, it is not respect. The Stoic man does not chase affection. He offers presence and withdraws it when it is not valued. Silence, distance, and self-respect are sometimes the strongest statements a man can make. You never negotiate your worth. 6. Never suppress emotions until they explode. Stoicism is not emotional repression. It is emotional discipline. A man who buries everything eventually erupts through anger, cruelty, or coldness. That is not strength. That is poor self-governance. The Stoic man observes his emotions without being controlled by them. He speaks calmly. He sets boundaries clearly. He acts deliberately. Self-control is the highest form of power. 7th, never stay where there is no respect. This is the final and most important rule. A Stoic man knows when to walk away. Repeated disrespect, manipulation, disregard, or emotional games are signals, not challenges. Staying where you are diminished teaches others how to treat you. Leaving teaches them your standards. Walking away is not weakness. It is loyalty to yourself. Peace is worth more than attachment. Final thought. Stoicism does not teach men how to conquer women. It teaches men how to conquer themselves. And when a man masters himself, his presence becomes calm, grounded, and unshakable. He does not chase. He does not beg. He does not fear loss. Because the man who controls his inner world is never controlled by anyone else. A Stoic man understands something most never realize. Relationships do not test love first. They test character. Every interaction with a woman reveals how well a man governs himself. Not his words, not his promises, but his reactions. When emotions rise, the undisciplined man reacts. When tension appears, he explains too much. When uncertainty shows up, he chases clarity at any cost. The Stoic man does none of that. He pauses, because he knows that between stimulus and response lies power, and most men give that power away without a fight. He does not rush to fix emotions that are not his responsibility. He does not absorb moods that do not belong to him. He does not sacrifice inner order for external harmony. Peace within is non-negotiable. A man who is centered cannot be manipulated. A man who is centered cannot be rushed. A man who is centered cannot be pulled into chaos. And chaos is where weak dynamics are born. The Stoic man also understands impermanence. He knows that attraction can fade, emotions can shift, and people can change. So he does not cling. Clinging is fear disguised as affection. He appreciates connection without becoming dependent on it. He enjoys intimacy without losing autonomy. He commits without abandoning himself. This balance is rare, and rarity creates value. Where most men seek certainty, the Stoic accepts uncertainty. Where most men demand reassurance, he trusts his preparation. Where most men fear loss, he has already made peace with it. Loss does not scare a man who knows he can rebuild. He also does not confuse intensity with depth, drama with passion, or obsession with love. Loud emotions impress the inexperienced, but calm consistency earns long-term respect. A Stoic man is steady. He does not punish with silence, nor plead with words. He communicates when it is productive and withdraws when it is not out of pride, but out of wisdom. He chooses dignity over emotional victory. He understands that attraction grows where pressure disappears, that respect grows where boundaries are enforced, and that desire survives where self-respect lives. Most importantly, he knows this: no relationship is worth self-betrayal. The moment a man compromises his values, tolerates repeated disrespect, or abandons his principles for emotional comfort, the relationship is already over, even if it continues on the surface. The Stoic does not wait to be broken to walk away. He listens to patterns, behavior, not words. And when he leaves cleanly, without insults, without revenge, without drama, because revenge still gives power to the past, and the Stoic moves forward. He returns to his discipline, his training, his work, his silence, his growth. Women may come and go, but the man remains stronger, clearer, more grounded than before. That is why Stoicism is dangerous to shallow dynamics. It removes desperation. It removes fear. It removes emotional slavery. And what remains is a man who cannot be controlled by pleasure or pain. A man who values peace over excitement, direction over validation, character over comfort. And paradoxically, that is the man who is most respected, most trusted, and most desired, not because he tries to be, but because he is. There comes a point in a man's life when he realizes that strength is not proven through reaction, but through restraint. Most men spend their lives trying to be understood, explaining intentions, justifying actions, defending emotions. The Stoic man steps away from this trap. He understands that clarity is earned through consistency, not speeches, that respect grows from behavior, not arguments, and that the man who constantly explains himself has already lost authority over his own presence. So he simplifies. He says less. He means more. Silence, in the hands of a disciplined man, is not avoidance. It is precision. He does not rush to answer every message, not to play games, but because his life is full. He does not feel the need to fill every gap with words, because he is comfortable with space. Space reveals truth. Those who value you will step closer. Those who only valued your attention will disappear. The Stoic man allows this process to happen naturally. He does not chase outcomes. He observes patterns. He also understands that emotional availability does not mean emotional exposure. There is a difference between being open and being unguarded, between honesty and oversharing, between connection and self-sabotage. A man who reveals everything too quickly does not create intimacy. He creates imbalance. The Stoic man reveals himself gradually, as trust is built, As consistency is proven, depth must be earned. He does not confuse vulnerability with weakness, but he also does not hand his inner world to someone who has not demonstrated care for it. Discipline applies to the heart as much as to the body. He also understands timing. Not every truth needs to be spoken immediately. Not every emotion needs to be expressed in the moment it appears. Impulse creates regret. Patience creates power. The Stoic man chooses the right moment, or none at all. He understands that attraction fades when polarity collapses, when a man becomes emotionally chaotic, unpredictable, or needy. He loses the grounded presence that once made him respected. So he maintains structure, routine, training, work, solitude, not as escape but as alignment. Because a man aligned with himself does not seek to be completed by another. He is complete and chooses connection as an addition, not a necessity. He also knows that walking away is not always physical. Sometimes it is energetic, withdrawing attention, reducing emotional investment, reclaiming focus, not as punishment, but as recalibration. When a woman senses that a man can detach without resentment, something shifts, because detachment signals abundance, and abundance signals strength. The Stoic man does not threaten to leave. He simply becomes ready to, and that readiness alone changes dynamics. He also does not live in the past of a relationship. He does not relive old arguments. He does not reopen healed wounds. He does not keep emotional score. Holding on to past pain poisons the present. The Stoic forgives, not to excuse behavior, but to free his own mind. And if behavior repeats, forgiveness turns into distance. Calmly, decisively, no speeches, no ultimatums, just action, because action is truth. At the deepest level, the Stoic man understands this love is not about possession. It is about choice. And choice only has meaning when freedom exists. So he never traps, never corners, never pressures. He allows people to show who they are, and he responds accordingly, without anger, without fear, without attachment. This is not coldness. This is emotional sovereignty, and emotional sovereignty is rare. That is why the Stoic man is often misunderstood, mistaken for distant, for indifferent, for unbothered. But beneath that calm is not emptiness. It is discipline. It is clarity. It is a man who has faced his own chaos and refused to be ruled by it. And once a man reaches that level, no relationship can destabilize him. It can enhance his life, or exit it, but it can never control him.